Aloha, good morning. Happy holidays, everybody. We just want to say good morning and welcome to the Chamber's last Focus On seminar of 2020, Tools presented by Microsoft, Dean Solutions, Hawaii Tech Support, and Talent HR Solutions, whose partnership of the program provides vital skills to Hawaii's small business community. Focus On seminars are complimentary for all of our Chamber, YP, and HFMA members, and is one of the many benefits of joining the Chamber. So, if you're interested in becoming a member, please send me a message through the chat or email me at tfatui@cochawaii.org, and we can go ahead and get you all signed up. I am Tricia Fatui, Associate Vice President of Events and Engagement at the Chamber of Commerce Hawaii, and it's a pleasure to welcome all of you this morning for our last Focus On seminar of the year, and welcome our panel of guest speakers who are all featured over here. Before we get started with the program and I turn things over to the panel, I just wanted to go over a few housekeeping items. For all of our attendees, today's event has been set up in webinar mode, so all of the questions can be submitted through the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. The webinar will be recorded and shared with all registered attendees 1 to 2 business days afterwards. The plan for the morning is for each of our speakers to give a quick presentation about their specific area of expertise. Then we'll move into more of a Q&A discussion and close with final thoughts and closing remarks. So workflow tools, especially cloud-based systems, are excellent for organizing work processes and projects within teams. Today, we will explore the technology available to streamline and simplify your data workflow within your organization. Joining us in our discussion are Jaime Kinoshita Oliveira from Upspring, an AIO digital company, Nicole Ridela, and Adrian DiTucci from Microsoft. Lastly, before I turn the program over to our awesome panel, I want to encourage everyone to join us on January 18th as we kick off the 2021 Chamber Week series with the For Hawaii Pushing Forward Together webinar, featuring the fresh faces of Hawaii's newest elected officials. Visit our website, cochawaii.org, for more information. Okay, now let's get the program started. At this time, it's my pleasure to turn the virtual microphone over to Jaime as she starts off the conversation and tells us a little more about Upspring's approach to helping clients prioritize areas within their businesses that can benefit from digital workflow tools. She will dive into how to select the best tools that fit your needs and budget, as well as how to identify and understand investment in workflow efficiency. Welcome, Jaime.
Thank you, Tricia. And I just want to say thank you to the Chamber of Commerce Hawaii for putting this Focus On event together. Upspring is definitely a user and itself of workflow tools, digital workflow tools, and are actively recommending to our clients. So we're very excited to be here. So a little bit about myself. My name is Jaime Kinoshita Oliveira. I have experience in technology and consulting and started my career in actually accounting and then lateraled over into hopefully lifelong career in consulting. I have a focus on business process consulting, e-commerce consulting, workflow optimization, software product management, digital strategy, digital and data and analytics, user experience design, and finance. Like I mentioned, I started my career in accounting and found the system side of things to be very interesting, which caused me to lateral over into a life of software development and consulting. I currently serve on several nonprofit boards, although Upspring itself and my career has never landed me in a nonprofit, working for a nonprofit organization. Serving on the board has given me, knowledge of digital workflow tools in a nonprofit setting. So that definitely helps our nonprofit clientele as well as understanding the customer engagement needs of nonprofit organizations. I currently hold the Executive Vice President position at Upspring, and I'll talk a little bit about Upspring. So Upspring is a part of the AIO family of companies. So we're a very diverse group of organizations. There's AIO Media, which includes some brands that you might be aware of, Hawaii Business Magazine, Honolulu Magazine, Frolic, to name a few, as well as non-media companies. So AIO Digital is a part of that. Library Creative and Upspring Media are the creative agency and the digital consulting arm of AIO, as well as we have Pagoda Floating Restaurant, which some of you might be familiar with family parties. Hawaii Distribution Center, which is a fulfillment and storage facility, as well as Punaluu Bake Shop and Behaman, which is a turf company. So although a diverse mix of companies and varying services and products that we offer, we're very unified in our efforts to really create and make Hawaii a better place for future generations to come. So what is Upspring? Upspring is a digital consultancy. We specialize in data analytics, performance tuning, database design, development, software, as well as web. We specialize in consulting, so a variety of different consulting offerings, such as business process consulting, where we go in and help clients to optimize operations. We do ADA consulting, GDPR, CCPA consulting as well, search engine optimization, and crafting digital strategies for our clients. We also specialize in e-commerce. So there's a lot that goes on with e-commerce. So we help clients either to create new online storefronts or marketplaces, or enhance existing ones and optimize customer workflow so that revenue and conversion is top of mind. And then we also do digital marketing. So a lot of strategy development, paid digital media efforts, email marketing, social media, as well as content creation. So part of, we started out as Upspring Media in 2008. And over the years, we were a web development company, a strictly web design and development company. In 2018, we rebranded as a digital consultancy that is really focused on being nimble and injecting that into our approach to serving clients. We really advise on with the mindset of our clients also need to be nimble. So they have to have digital workflow tools and digital tools that will allow them to pivot, to change direction, to enhance the way they communicate to customers in a very quick and nimble way. So it has changed. This rebrand that we went through in 2018 really changed the way we operate in every aspect, from finding research for our clients in our discovery and assessment phase, to making investments in research, basically, and so that we're able to make informed decisions and recommendations to our clients. So that kind of brought about this digital roadmap offering that I'm going to be talking about shortly. And it is our version of being nimble and reacting to the needs of our customers and Hawaii businesses. So the digital roadmap was created out of the pandemic. So what exactly is a digital roadmap? So prior to the pandemic, we started to see changes in what our clients were asking of us, which prompted our rebrand. So no longer are they coming to us saying, hey, I need a website and I need it to do this specifically, and I need it launched by this time. They're actually telling us that, hey, this is what we've done. This is what seemed to have worked. This is the challenges that we're seeing. We're not sure where to go from here. So that got us thinking that there's a real need for some sort of plan that is quick, that will allow clients to really start working towards whatever it is they're trying to get to. So that's the digital roadmap that I'm about to talk about. So businesses started to share more about what their overall strategic plans are, what are some of the challenges that they're experiencing, and that they really either don't know where to go from here or started an effort and it's not really quite working out how they envision. So our typical project process is a comprehensive discovery and assessment, which results in a digital strategy. Depending on an organizational size, that digital assessment phase can last up to 3 months. And in a time like this, we don't have the luxury of time. So the digital roadmap is a lot quicker and quicker plan that clients are able to just get started right away and see results quicker with. The pandemic accelerated the need for this plan. So we rolled it out in early April and started to include workflow tools in our recommendations. So not just defining what workflow tools to use, but how to use it, how to communicate to your customers, or if it's an internal workflow, how to optimize it and get team buy-in so that they're able to let these workflow tools do the heavy lifting and concentrate on, serving your customers, providing the services and products that you guys are getting hired to do. So we also found a need during this time that not only did clients need to recover quicker, there was a lot of lost revenue that we're still experiencing. They needed to reopen safely. So that opened up a new type of workflow tools need. So workflow tools that will help customers feel safe and employees feel safe in being in the workplace. So this roadmap, it really is designed to help Hawaii businesses acknowledge what's best for its survival and success. And I'll share a little bit more in detail about this offering, but the core of it is the understanding of your business, leveraging cloud-based services that already exist are at lower cost to adopt. So rather than developing software from scratch, there's a lot of cloud-based solutions that are available that are a lot quicker to get implemented. So why is this roadmap important? Or I'm sorry, what's included in, why is this digital roadmap important? So it's important so businesses understand their unique organizational goals and challenges. They may know what tools exist and how to solve these challenges, but often lack a cohesive execution strategy, and things are being rolled out in piecemeal. They'll spin up a website, they'll start an email newsletter, they have an internal project management tool that they have their team using, but it's not talking together, or data is not being looked at in a comprehensive way. So the digital roadmaps are important because they help to expedite results through priorities and establishing clear tactics. You may still need to do a deeper dive with a more comprehensive discovery and assessment for projects, but a roadmap is a concise plan that sets these priorities and defines which tools should be implemented in order by priority. Like strategic plans, organizations are using strategic plans as a clear path to ensuring that they're headed in the right direction. Digital roadmaps serve the same role and provide clarity and alignment on what needs to happen. Digital roadmaps also keep a company mindful of their current state versus future state. I know that when Upspring was going through our rebrand, it was so easy to kind of get stuck into how things are happening now and what we're doing now. So digital roadmaps, like strategic plans, help to provide that clarity on this is what's happening now, but this is where we're headed and how we're going to get there. Introducing new digital tools that we need to add to our already busy day is hard. Getting the team to adopt it and to sustain it is also hard. So roadmaps aid in organizational buy-in to make sure that everyone's on the same page, everyone is included in this planning process, and everyone is helping with the implementation and to ensure the success of this. So what's included in a digital roadmap? So prioritize recommendations on digital workflow tools, high-level recommendations for implementation, and content strategy. So our team of strategists keep updated with what's out there. So the latest in commerce platforms, customer service relationship tools, team optimization, collaborative tools. And then we recommend what would work best for a particular situation that our clients are going through. Our roadmaps often go beyond digital workflow tools. The genesis of this offering really was to help POE businesses. So we make suggestions that fit our clients' needs, that clients are able to execute, that they're able to sustain. Some of the recommendations we make also might not be digital. Not necessarily digital. So it might be content strategy. So recommendations on content that can be introduced that will introduce workflow efficiencies for your customers or your teams. Assessment of best workflow tools. Sometimes there's no clear standout. I'll share a little bit later a case study where our client has a very unique offering. They're not a clear, so a solution wasn't, it wasn't really clear whether they needed a standard commerce solution or if a meal prep type of online ordering, CSA type of ordering was needed. So I'll talk a little bit about that next. We provide ballpark estimates. So again, this roadmap is really to help POE businesses. So we provide estimates based on the client's bandwidth. The client has to be able to afford and sustain this plan to get them to the future state. So we make recommendations that fit their budget, as well as introducing them to possible vendors and partners that may lead to work outside of Upspring. So I wanted to share today just a few case studies with you. The first is Touch a Heart. So Touch a Heart had really specific and clear a mission and objectives. The objectives were pretty standard. So increasing awareness and sales of their services and products, improve online ordering experience, which is directly related to increasing sales, ability to increase profit margin so that more can go back into their programming, enhancing the way the donor experience and engagement with volunteers, because they depend heavily, they're a small team that depends heavily on volunteer base, increasing overall monetary donations, increasing their volunteer pool and the amount of hours that volunteers are helping out, as well as time efficiencies. Because they're a small team, it was really crucial for them to be able to accommodate this growth in reach that they're trying to accomplish, so that they could serve a larger community. They needed to free up staff time. So from a traditional nonprofit side, their business is accepting donations, but they are unique in an aspect where they have a social enterprise aspect to their organization. So they are actively selling to the community, and proceeds selling baked goods as well as meal kits, and as well as serving meal kits to kapuna in need. So they had a very unique offering. Most of Touch a Heart's objectives could be accomplished by either updating their current ordering platform or a complete redesign. So Upspring kind of helped to assess and make a recommendation on that. We looked into various cloud-based systems, workflow tools that would help solve their problems. For Touch of Heart's case, it wasn't really clear. A lot of varying workflow tools were a fit for them, commerce tools as well as meal kit tools. So what we did was we assessed their requirements and came up with a scorecard and assessed three various software solutions and made a recommendation which they executed. For Touch of Heart's case, it wasn't really clear.
Sorry, Jaime, to interrupt. This story is so great. It's really interesting. But we are running, I think, a little bit over time. So if you wouldn't mind just wrapping up Touch of Heart's success story, and then we can move to Adrian and Nicole.
Sure. So for Touch of Heart's case, it wasn't clear on the type of system they needed. So we just made recommendations and they executed it. So lastly, I'll just go to the results of it. So from this, they really took the roadmap and went ahead and implemented it. And within a month, Touch a Heart was able to achieve a handful of short-term objectives, including increasing by double-digit percentages, allowing them to serve more customers in need. And they continue to monitor and assess their digital tools, workflow tools. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jaime. And thank you for the just detailed explanation about AIO and Upspring. I think all of us are very familiar with, AIO has huge brand recognition, but we're not always super familiar with all the companies that come under it and what everybody does. So I really enjoyed that thorough explanation. And I just wanted to say a shout out to Chase. I see Chase is on today. He's one of our YP members, and I know he's from Upspring. So thank you for joining us today. And now I'd like to turn it over to Nicole and Adrian to share more about the selection of workflow tools that Microsoft offers, including work apps, including the work app included in Microsoft Teams, such as Planner. Adrian, Nicole?
Hi, good morning. Thank you. For those that know me and those that may not have had a chance to meet me, my name is Adrian DiTucci. I'm the business sales specialist at the Microsoft team in Hawaii. And for some that are familiar, we closed our stores back in June worldwide, so it's not a temporary type of thing. But we've shifted to an online support team, online sales, online training. So if you have Microsoft products and services for your business, we can still support you locally with any of those three types of things. And training has been one of the biggest types of service requests from the Microsoft team in Hawaii. And we actually support the greater Asia Pacific area for our other Microsoft accounts throughout our enterprise and our local teams here. With me this morning is Nicole. She's the business expert, and she'll be taking the lead today on the workflow apps that are out there. She's had great experience with that from a sales perspective, but she also kind of brought us helped to establish our training team during the dark days of COVID back in March, April, and May. So she's very familiar with the apps because guess what? That's what everybody wanted. They wanted to understand how they can take what they have currently, their Microsoft license, and expand on that. How can they make everything work seamlessly in one ecosystem instead of having to go buy three different types of additional services, and then now you have three different platforms. Is the security levels the same? Are they compatible with each other? Then you have three learning platforms that are required because now you have to spin up your teams on that, your individual team members. One person might use one more than the other. And by having everything in your one ecosystem and you realize that you're paying for a license that you've already got a lot of things in. I want Nicole to kind of take it from here, and then she'll kind of talk to it, but we'll both kind of chime in and help you understand what you have currently and how to take advantage of that. Nicole?
Thank you, Adrian, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone, and Thank you again to Chamber of Commerce and Jaime for her presentation going first. She brought up a lot of really great points in her presentation that tie in very well to workflow apps that are offered in Microsoft 365. So as Adrian was mentioning, training is definitely very important. That's really what has been at the heart of our business since the start of COVID-19. So with that came a lot of interest and, popularity with our Teams platform. Now we all know that Teams is definitely the hub for collaboration, but as Adrian was mentioning, there are a plethora of other workflow tools and applications within each Office license that, you folks are working from now or might be interested in. So one of those applications is Planner. Now, Planner is a web-based application or cloud-based because it is a web app application that you can use. It's a lighter version of, for those of you that might use Microsoft Project, it's a lighter version of that really helps you create and develop a plan and to execute. And what's really great about that is that as you create these plans and assign these tasks to your team, you have a really great and easy way and a really user-friendly interface to keep track of the progress that's being made to, again, help you stay on top of things, help you stay on top of maybe your daily to-do tasks as well. So as Adrian mentioned, with Microsoft 365, you have all these tools and you have all of these sub tools, I guess you can call, depending on how you like to work and what is most comfortable for you when you are working. So whether you like to use the web applications or you like to integrate everything into Teams, you have a way of really easily doing those and still getting the same result, which is really great. So let's say when you're in Teams, for example, there is a tool in there. It's not called Planner anymore. It's called Planner Plus To Do. So we've kind of rebranded that. It still functions the same, where you can create tasks, but the user interface is going to be a little bit different as if you were using the web application of Planner. So when, there is a difference, but again, the result will be the same. You can keep track of your tasks that you create for yourself, that you create for others, and that have been assigned to you, whether you're in Teams or in the web app. You can still see what needs to be done, what needs to be completed, and what is in progress right now, which is really great. And then another thing that I kind of set of applications that I wanted to kind of touch base on a little bit, this really was inspiration from Jaime's presentation, is our Power Platform as well. So since she was talking about, the importance of data and analytics, the Power Platform is really that. So it has three main components. You have Power Apps, which gives you the ability to create very simplified apps for you and your team with little to no coding experience. And that, with our team at Microsoft here for our Honolulu team, has really been useful because we've created a number of apps to help really make our workday, our day-to-day, like monotonous tasks a little bit more easy and a little bit more comprehensive. So for example, we've created an application that lists all of our Surface products. So whether I'm creating a quote and don't know what a SKU is, or Adrian, or maybe someone new who hasn't done this before and they need help finding like what's the right SKU, what's the right type of product, we have an app for that was created, quickly and easily for our team. The next one, as you folks might know, is Power BI. So that is our data analytics part, where it takes the data that you collect and create and really creates this nice visual so you can see, the progress of whatever metrics that you're trying to track, whether it be sales or even different metrics such as customer satisfaction, which is really great. And then you also have Power Automate, which used to be called Flow. So again, it's kind of taking a collection of different apps and tools that you use and blends it together to make your workflow process easier. So it really connects those applications that you use in a way to, again, either automate something for you or to create, again, that really nice, visual of your data and everything. So that's kind of like the Power Platform right there. And when we were approached with this topic for, the last event for this series, like those were really the top two collection of applications that Adrian and I thought of when they were like workflow apps. Because workflow can mean a lot of different things to me. It's just finding a way to have the tools that you already have that maybe some people don't know that they had access to. And again, Microsoft 365 offers so much that it's definitely worth exploring to see what you have available for you. So again, it just helps workflow tools help you not only stay productive, it helps you stay organized. And then in a way, depending on what you're trying to do, it can help you grow your business as well. Again, with that Power Platform, and even something like Microsoft Bookings as well is a really great tool that you do have at your disposal. So that is basically my presentation.
Thank you. One of the things that we kind of continue to talk about is Microsoft Teams. So within Teams, that's a collaboration effort. So if you're trying to reach out to a think of Teams as the name of the team is the top of the Christmas tree. So that would be Honolulu, Hawaii. So that's maybe your officer. Then we have what we call channels, which are just groups below that. So that's where you can assign people. So if you have a sales team, you have a financial team, you have a marketing team, those people are assigned to those channels, and you can collaborate with them there so that not everybody else is seeing the same message. If you have an office of anything more than 20 people, sometimes the noise can get in the way of your day-to-day effort, and that can affect how your productivity is. So by organizing messages into specific groups within the team, and then creating the planner. So within planner, maybe you have a project within, say, marketing. From there, they look like little index cards. You're going to create silos, which are just columns, and you can have as many columns as you want. You can title them as you want, but there's like little index card types of things. You can add up to 15 members to that one task. From that task, you can write everything you need to do, and it shows the progression of the task. So it's very easy because it's a circle. If the circle's empty, the task hasn't started yet, or there's no movement on it. If the circle becomes half full, it's somewhere in the process. And if the circle is full, it's completed. However, that doesn't mean that you cannot look at the notes in it, because there may be sections where each person has to contribute to that task. And you can move the task into the different columns or silos that you make to show progression, or to show who's responsible for a particular task. Maybe it's within the marketing one, you have the media group, the guys that have to design the artwork for the presentation. So they're assigned a task and a deadline and a date, and it kind of gives you warnings, and it will alerts everybody to the pending dates so that people can stay on top of it. It's kind of like a light version of Microsoft. Nicole, I'm sorry, the name escapes me right now. The projects. So the larger, more expensive type of project management software. This is a lighter version of that to help you. Within Teams, even having a program that we use called Shifts. So our members punch in and out for their hourly sections in a different program, but Shifts is in Teams. I can go in there and see who's on vacation, what shift they're working for the day, or what day of the week they're working, without having to leave Teams. So my workflow stays within Teams. I don't have to worry about opening another app. Is that app up to date? Where is it? How am I doing with it? Did I leave it open too long? Is it consuming data processing on the computer? Because it's in Teams, it's all worked within it. To that same thinking, if I post a Word document in Teams through a chat or through the channel, say marketing, they can open that Word document, stay within Teams, edit the document. They can actually see if somebody else is in there, because in that document, there'll be signature colors. So it'll have the person's initials and a different color, and you'll see if they're still in the document and working. And that's collaboration. That increases your workflow for the particular document you're on, without having to email a document back and forth, and then worrying about which version of the document somebody actually grabbed. I'm notorious for grabbing an old one because I store it and I forget where I stored it, and I'll store it again someplace else. But I may go back to the first stored document and forgot, oh, that's not the one in downloads maybe that I needed to actually work on. By leaving everything in teams, you improve efficiency, you improve cohesion, and you improve the quality of the work that's being done, because you can see or actually work together on a document. You can actually be on Teams talking, have the document open, and you could be coaching someone and say, I don't like the font. Do you think you could change something to maybe be a little more cursive and look? They can make the change right there. You can be viewing and go, oh, I love it. Let's increase this. Let's decrease that. Can you add a footer, a sub note? Same thing when you're working in PowerPoint. By opening the document there, you can continue to work in it. Now, that doesn't prevent you from downloading the document or opening it in what we call the desktop application. So with Microsoft licensing, whether you're on a Windows device or a Mac, by using the Microsoft M365 license, you're granting yourself and your users full access to the full suite of Microsoft services. So as we all know, Mac has its own native client type of software. So you don't have to use that, because a lot of times it'll convert it to Microsoft services. We would love to have you kind of take our names and numbers at the end here and reach back to us, because there's so much to show. We'd love to take a discovery call with you and kind of talk you through it to learn more. So I think I'll turn it back over to the moderator right now, and we'll be on call. We're still on. I think there's a Q&A coming up right now, so we'll be able to help answer some deeper questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian and Nicole. And likewise, if you guys want to put your contact information in the chat now, then people can always grab that and keep that for their files. And then Adrian and Nicole, I love the planner. I'm an event planner, so I love the planner app. If you guys have any visuals that you can share your screen and walk us through, I think that would be helpful, just for everyone in attendance, just kind of visualize it. But let me know. In the meantime, I did have one quick question. So is the Microsoft Store planning to reopen next year, or was it permanently closed?
It's unfortunately permanently closed. They closed all 83 stores worldwide. The decision was that with the pandemic, and we could service our customers just as efficiently. Unfortunately, we don't have the touch and feel of the devices, but our product is located at other what we call value-added resellers or partners, that you can go and look and touch and feel the device, and then we can kind of help you make the right decision based off of what you're looking for, to make sure that the ergonomics of the device work for you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so if anyone in attendance has any questions for our speakers, we do encourage you to place those questions in the Q&A button. And so I just want to start off with my first question. It's for Jaime. How long does it take for Upspring to put together a digital roadmap? It sounds very complicated and very long, but I know you said about 3 months. But have you guys gotten that process down to a shorter time?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, the digital roadmap was really to be able to respond quickly during this time. So we're turning around roadmaps. It varies, but on the low end, within a week. It varies depending on what the objectives are, and if there has been a lot of investment in like serving their customers, and there's a lot of data to look through. Thank you.
How about cost? How much, what are the cost ranges for a digital roadmap?
Again, it depends on the objectives and what type of data that we're looking through. But the starting cost for a digital roadmap is $1,000.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. And then also, Jaime, there's so many tools out there. How do you decide which is best for any particular situation?
So it really, that touch of heart case study example comes down to understanding the objectives and the challenges, what has been tried already, and coming up with a requirements list. And then from that list, figuring out what tools are available. And sometimes it's not as clear cut. For example, in Touch a Heart's case, we're looking at meal prep solution, call-based solutions, as well as CSA solutions, in addition to standard like e-commerce. So it really depends on the requirements and the objectives.
Very interesting. Thank you. Nicole and Adrian, what are the most popular apps that your user like, and why?
One of the ones that I've come across is Planner, and then as well as actually Bookings was extremely popular for the small to sole proprietors, that allows them to post something that their customers can actually go in and find a date and time and make their own appointment with them, instead of actually having to either pick up the phone and run a manual process for booking a meeting or appointment with somebody for a client. Uh, we've seen people that, especially if they're a service type of based business, like here's an example. One person is that found Bookings to be very popular was a plumber. He was a sole proprietor, and he would have like a journeyman once in a while. He'd work at a trade union, but he didn't always have somebody with him, and obviously his hands are always preoccupied. So by having Bookings on his site, he allowed the user to find a time slot to book it, but it also gave information to the user as they were booking what things would be required. Like, okay, the person would connect with them like a half hour before their job was to be done, so they would know also what to expect. I guess the fees or anything like that. So Bookings was extremely useful for a small to sole proprietor business that has still continued to be an exceptionally looked at app, as well as Planner for the larger anybody who has multiple members of a team that they need to keep track of. Instead of doing a tasks or to-do list, they found Planner to be really popular. Nicole, what was your experiences?
Planner definitely, especially now since a lot of the workforce here in Hawaii and around the world is just working remotely. Planner's definitely been like one of the top things that we get a lot of questions about. How do I integrate it with this? You know, how do I create multiple plans for different projects, which is very easy and very seamless, especially when you're working from the web application as well. But another thing that has also really kind of gained popularity, especially to help you stay really organized, again, kind of with your to-do, like your own your own to-do list, and even organize your resources and your notes and everything, is OneNote. That is probably one of my favorite apps. I absolutely love it. I use my OneNote every single day. And think of it as pretty much like a digital notebook, like we used to carry around when we were in school, where the OneNote itself is your binder. You can have as many different tabs for as many different subjects. You can organize it however you want, and you can have as many pages within those sections as you need. So it's really great. It's really helpful. And especially when you are working with a lot of information, like we are at Microsoft, we have new information coming down from our, corporate leaders every single day, with new initiatives, new processes, new special promotions that we're able to pass along to our customers. So OneNote is just a very easy way to have everything you need, all of your really vital tools and resources in one location, which I really love. Yeah, so that's probably one of the more popular apps that's gaining traction right now as well.
Thank you for sharing. I like the planner idea, so I'm gonna look into that after this meeting. How do you guys have any advice on how do you get your staff or your team to buy into using the new workflow apps?
One of the things that when you encounter that is that when you got to kind of look at the individuals, where are they in the digital world? Are they kind of new to technology? Are they veterans? Are they kind of set in their ways? one of the quickest ways is after you've gotten your platform or you're starting to launch, maybe you have Microsoft 365 and you realize, oh, I've got all these things, I'm going to learn a little more. Reach back to us. We do trainings. There's no cost for our trainings. So the first thing that we can do is we can take someone with 0 to low capabilities and actually get them very comfortable, very familiar, and then they become an asset to your organization because now they're skilled instead of them struggling to figure it out. Just give us a few hours, 1 hour here and 1 hour there. Within those 2 hours, broken up, they will become a lot stronger in their skills, and then the adoption comes from there. Once they realize that, hey, it's nothing to be afraid of, and oh, I can actually make this work with my job, you'd be surprised how many people embrace it and actually carry on with the programs and applications that you have given them to do their job. The other one is it's constant use. So like Teams. A lot of people were like, where do we get started with Teams? Well, the first thing is show them how to use a chat, get them used to chatting with each other, and then using the channels to post information and updates. And then they start to learn that they can talk in chats, they can post things, the files are there, they don't have to go run around to another drive to look for stuff because it's all centrally located. So adoption is, after training, becomes constant use, day to day, every day, encouraging people to use it, kind of messaging them there instead of picking up the phone, getting used to doing that, and even using it on your phone, downloading the apps onto your phone and using it there. They realize that they become more empowered, that they're out and about and they're looking at Teams and they're seeing these questions being asked. They know what they're getting into when they get back to the office or when they have a moment to pull over and answer questions. It allows them to organize their thoughts, and then the adoption comes with that as well. Nicole, any experiences that I may have missed?
Yeah, a lot of companies that we've been working with also use a pilot program where they're taking a small group of their team to test out these new platforms and these new tools to see how it works, to get all the bugs worked out and to see how they can roll this out to the rest of their team or the rest of their organization. And that in return, your pilot team, your pilot program team will become your subject matter experts, so they can also help with the adoption with the rest of the team or the organization as well. So pilot programs are a great thing.
How about you, Jamie? Do you have any advice that you give to your clients? Because I imagine that like a senior leader or the owner of a company is coming to you with, wants to be help with this digital roadmap, but then they have to take that roadmap down to their team and get their team to actually execute things. Do you give any tips to your leaders?
What worked has been working for us is we definitely include key departments and key people in the planning process. That way they feel invested in the project. And like Nicole said, it's really important to get subject matter experts. So we do a lot of pilot rollouts for sure. And that group becomes like the champion users, and that the organization can kind of go to for advice, and that helps to empower the teams and people.
That's great. Thank you. We do have one question from the audience, and it is for Nicole and Adrian. What are some of the examples of how businesses use Microsoft to automate and use Microsoft Automate and apps? Can Adrian and Nicole share their screen and provide visual?
Yeah, I can go ahead and kind of answer a little bit about that. So, when you're working within like the Power Platform, so Power Automate, for example, it used to be called Flow, but now they've changed it to Power Automate. So, let's say, for example, you're trying to keep track of um, event attendees. That's kind of a good one since we're in an event right now. So let's say, you've sent out this many emails, but instead of manually tracking how many responses you're getting back as accepting and or, declining that invitation in like an Excel sheet, like a manual tracker that you would usually have, you can create a flow using that Power App where it brings together, say, like Outlook and the Excel sheet that you've created. so that when you're sending out those emails with a very specific title or anything like that, it's automatically going to keep track of the responses that you get and automatically put it in that tracker. So let's say a week goes by, you've gotten, like 10 responses that have accepted your invitation and maybe 3 that have declined. So instead of going back through every single email that you've received, being like, okay, this person said yes, so let me put it there. This person said no, let me put it there. It automatically does it for you. So that's kind of the whole concept behind Power Automate. Unfortunately, I will not be able to show it to you because it's a lot more involved than just that. But once you get everything set up, then it kind of does work like clockwork. But there is a lot that goes into it before it can work like clockwork. But as Adrian mentioned, like ourselves and our training team, we're more than happy to have those one-on-one conversations with you. So, again, like Jaime was even saying, we can assess your needs, what you need, what you'd like to see happen. And then we can kind of go from there and recommend which tools, or even instruct you on how to use the tools that you maybe might be currently working with now.
Wonderful, thank you. Well, we have about 9 more minutes, and I just wanted to see if each of you have like a closing tip or, a trend that you expect for 2021, any kind of closing comments, and what we can expect on the horizon with the holidays and 2021 quickly approaching. Jaime, it's kind of a curveball. Would you like to go first?
Sure. I think the only closing remark I have is that it's going to be really important for businesses to, be flexible and nimble. And we saw a lot of, workflow all-stars out of COVID. The video collaboration tools really helped us to get back to operate and conduct business, even though we're not physically located in the office, pretty quickly, as well as connecting with our loved ones. So just to continue to be nimble and leverage digital tools, workflow tools that are out there. There's a lot of great cloud-based solutions.
Great, thank you. Adrian, Nicole, did you have any closing comments?
A quick one. So if you're in the stage of maybe upgrading or moving or migrating, don't stop. Continue with what you're doing, because if you think that the doors are going to open again and the people are just going to flow in, we've seen it 2 to 3 times. It's like a sine wave. It goes up and down. We get our anticipations up, and then we're back down. We're in this for a long period of time, and to evolve into the digital age, like Jaime was saying, an application like this, or an application like Teams, and having a Teams meeting or a Teams live to host your product, to host what you're selling and trying to connect with people on, is a little easier, because now those people don't have to drive to a location. They don't have to, especially if they're off island, they can actually come on to a monthly or bi-weekly meeting that you have to talk about product set. They can join at no cost. You can actually connect better with them in this day and age. Try to remember, though, to whatever sessions you're doing, it's just like being in school. We used to have 50 minutes in a classroom, 5 to 10 minutes to clean up, and then you're off to another class. I really did not like those college 4-hour lab classes, because my brain just could not sit there for 4 hours. Be respectful of the retention that someone can have when you're having meetings and flows that go along with it. But the digital age is here. It's not going to go away. It's just giving you a new area to connect with your customers. So continue with your evolution. Check your bandwidth and make sure that you have enough bandwidth to support what you're trying to do, because nothing worse than customer experience is having a glitchy conversation, or actually dropping, or actually because you've reached capacity that the presentation doesn't work. So those 2 main things: continue with your evolution, spend a little money, evolve your network, making sure that it can support your bandwidth. Those are the 2 things that I can say for at least the first half of 2021, if not 2/3 of 2021. Keep going with that, because you'll see the return on investment. I guarantee that you'll see a return on investment. Nicole, what's your thoughts?
Basically, that cloud is king, like more so now than ever. Like, cloud is really important, not just for security purposes, but also to, again, just maintain that digital presence with your businesses and organizations. So, if you're not there yet, definitely partner with organizations like like Jamie's organization to see what steps need to happen for you to get there. Not that writing things down on paper is bad. It's not. I still write things down too. But, the more, especially with like your client information, your business information, the more that you can move that into like a digital type of format, the better off you're going to be. So, especially those of you that might have like on-premise servers and constantly worry about that, maybe think about, what it would take and what it looks like for your business and your organization if you moved like completely to the cloud, and what that would mean in terms of like how much you're saving on like server maintenance and any type of like backup solutions should your server crash. So just think about things like those, but definitely from this day on, like, cloud is key. A lot of businesses are moving to the cloud, so think about that too.
On mute. Thank you so much, Nicole. And so thank you everybody for joining us this morning and spending your morning with us. And thank you to our special guest speakers, Adrian, Nicole, and Jaime, for sharing your knowledge and time with the business community this morning. Continue to follow the Chamber on Facebook and Instagram for the latest updates on COVID. And remember that our Chamber team is here to keep your business open and support you during these trying times. Mahalo again, and we look forward to seeing you all on Zoom again soon. Hopefully in person soon, but definitely on Zoom. And wishing you happy holidays. Aloha, everybody. Bye. Have a great one.